Thanks for tuning in, guys. Today we're going to talk about the current top 10 endgame builds in Diablo 4. Starting at number 10, we have a brand new generator build. This build looks like a ton of fun, primarily because druid skills tend to use a lot of spirit. And since Wind Shear is a generator, you have none of that problem at all. You just get to spam Wind Shear, enjoy some of the aspect boosts like Aspect of the Calm Breeze, as well as Thunderstruck, which just scales the damage like crazy. This build is really good at pushing the pit content as well as being a boss destroyer. Next up, number 9 is the Necromancer Bone Spirit build. Now, Bone Spirit has the strongest burst damage potential in a single cast of any skill in Diablo 4. When you prioritize hitting 100% critical strike chance, the damage from a single Bone Spirit is able to one-shot most enemies and bosses in the game. The way that this build works is that since Bone Spirit has a small radius, you want to group everything together with Corpse Tendrils and then spawn a Bone Spirit and then watch everything just explode. Also, thanks to key uniques like Banished Lord's Talisman, as well as Blood Moon Breaches, you can multiplicatively add Overpower to your Bone Spirit for even more insane damage. Number 8, we have another Necromancer build, folks, and that is the Blight Necromancer. This is the definitive damage over time class right now in Diablo 4, and it is shredding the endgame. The key here is utilizing the Blight Corpse Explosion skill on top of Blight itself. Combine that with Aspect of the Void, and you have everyone grouped up together, taking a lot of AoE damage, and with multiple new lucky hit modifiers you can put on your gear from tempering. Every tick of every dot has a chance to proc something crazy to the denizens of hell. This build doesn't need any specific items to do a lot of damage, but it does really come online when you get the Ebon Piercer necklace, as well as the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul. If you love damage over time classes, then this is the one for you. For number 7, yet again highlighting the Necromancer, we have the Necromancer Minion build. This is the definitive endgame build if you want to just raise an army of the undead and have them take care of business for you. You're using Raised Skeleton, you're not sacrificing any of your minions in this build, you're using your Skeleton Warriors, your Skeleton Mages, your Golem, and you're even utilizing the Army of the Dead ultimate. You no longer have to worry about your minions staying alive, because in Season 4, they're going to be much tankier than you are. Combine that with Decrepify to slow down enemies and Corpse Tendrils to bunch them all together. This build is a lot of fun to command your minions and see them absolutely destroy the minions of hell. Moving on to number 6, we have the Rogue's Penetrating Shot Nuke the Whole Screen build. With this build, you're using Puncture to apply Vulnerable to all enemies, lining them up, using Penetrating Shot with the Trick Shot aspect to shoot arrows all over the screen and then watch them explode thanks to the Victimize key passive. I played this build last season, guys, and it is a lot of fun and showing to be really strong this season as well. If you like builds that, although require a little bit of setup, explode the entire screen as a result, then this is the one for you. Now, landing on number 5 is another rogue build, and that is the Rogue Rapid Fire build. Thanks to a new unique called Scoundrel's Kiss, Rapid Fire has really come online to dominate this season. What Scoundrel's Kiss does is it allows your Rapid Fire to shoot explosive rounds all over the vicinity for some crazy AoE chaos. We use Cold Imbuement here to slow down and clump up the enemies, and then you just rapid fire away. Coming in at number 4, like the Druid's Wind Shear build, we have another dominating generator build, and that is the Heartseeker Rogue build. Once again, using the Moonrise aspect to gain crazy multiplying damage on your basic Heartseeker skill, along with the Rogue Victimize key passive skill, you are going to be doing massive damage, not worrying about energy expenditure. This build is always online, requires very little setup, and works well with the Rogue's Inner Sight ability to give you a whole bunch of crit chance. If you've really wanted to enjoy multiple different range builds for Rogue, then this is really the season for you. Landing in as the third best endgame build this season is the Shadow Minion Necromancer. Now, the Shadow Minion Necromancer combines the best of both worlds of both the Blight damage over time build as well as the Minion build. We are going to be using Blight to both slow down enemies and increase the damage of our minions. And with the ultimate Shadow aspect, we're going to use Bone Storm them to add even more damage over time. All while you have an army of shadow skeletal mages helping you continuously proc your Shadow Blight passive. Not only is this build extremely powerful, but it's a nice mix of both passive gameplay with your skeleton minions and golem, as well as interactive gameplay with your Bone Storm and Blight casting spell. Now moving on to number 2, Barbarian comes into the picture, and we are going to talk about the Thorns Barbarian. This build is all about stacking as much Thorns as possible and pulling enemies in to keep on attacking you. One of the key items you really do want here is the Razor Plate chest armor, which has 4 different affixes providing you Thorn status, as well as increasing the damage of your Thorn. This build relies on you using your shouts to stay alive and pulling enemies in. Speaking of pulling enemies in, Steel Grasp allows you to pull in any scared runners so you can really dish out the damage. For single target, you do have Bash, which is surprisingly strong this season, along with helping your survivability by giving you maximum life as Fortify. This build is really fun and powerful for those who want more of a do nothing and just watch enemies die as they attack you. If that sounds like the gameplay style for you, come check it out. And coming in at number 1 is the Barbarian Bash build. We're seeing a lot of generator builds not only standing toe-to-toe with your standard spender abilities, but with Bash. This is coming in at number 1. This is another build that greatly benefits on aspect of the Moonrise with that sexy vampiric blood rage damage boost. Your primary focus of this build is to leap into crowds of enemies, bash them to death, pull them back in if they run away with your Steel Grasp, and bash them to death some more. One key item that really brings this build online is the Pain Gorger's Gauntlet's unique item, which makes it so when you cast anything that's not a basic skill, your bash is going to do even more damage, and it's going to be AoE. Personally, as a huge fan of generator builds from back in Diablo 3, I'm excited to give this one a shot. Now, before we wrap up this video, I am going to do some honorable mentions. So at number 11, we do have the Frozen Orb Sorcerer. Frozen Orb has been a huge staple in the Diablo franchise since Diablo 2. And thanks to the Fractured Winterglass new unique amulet, it really does come online. Your Frozen Orb has a chance to spawn a conjuration spell like Hydras, who then have a chance to spawn their own orbs. So you're seeing a lot of orb flying around, shooting icicles everywhere, and just exploding the screen. Another honorable mention also goes to the Sorcerer, and that is the Fireball Sorcerer build. With this build, it really focuses on the Flame Weaver unique gauntlet, which allows you to shoot fireballs through a firewall and have them to split into 3 additional fireballs, each of them doing more damage. If you're hoping for a strong fire build this season, this one's right up your alley. And last but certainly not least is the Barbarian Double Swing Twister build. Thanks to significant improvements of Dust Devil damage multipliers across different aspects, this build relies on using Double Swing to spawn a whole bunch of Dust Devils. So if you want to build where you're going to leap around and just spawn a ton of different tornadoes, this is the build for you. With that, I'll wrap up this video by saying thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoy content like this, please like, subscribe, and consider commenting to let me know what you'd like to see next. Until next time.